There were some clashes between protesters and police, but overall the march in Paris was peaceful. Public sector workers and students were united in anger against the government's plans to reform public services and universities. They say the changes would reduce their rights.
We're in a power struggle with Macron. We'll fight for our beliefs. We may not win, but we won't surrender.
We support the rail workers and the social movement. There's too much injustice. We have to mobilise people against the president's reforms.
It was a similar picture in some other cities across France, including Marseille and Lyon. The government wants to overhaul the National Rail Company, or SNCF, which is deep in debt, and scrap some staff benefits. Rail workers say that's unfair, that the benefits are compensation for unsociable hours and low pay.
The government needs to stop treating us like fools by saying that they are open to dialogue. Each time the president or a minister speaks, they say, we are ready to talk about everything, but we won't change our mind. That's not our concept of dialogue.
The French president says that these reforms are necessary to reduce high unemployment, cut debt and create opportunities, but he must convince the French public of his agenda, which is why over the past few days he has been on something of a charm offensive.
Macron's given 2 rare television interviews, and on Wednesday in eastern France he spoke to protesting rail workers.
I respect people and I've always respected the rail workers. I've never insulted the rail workers. We need this reform. The SNCF needs it.
Some analysts say the protests are Macron's biggest political test since being elected nearly a year ago.
Emmanuel Macron cannot back down on his reforms, because if he backs down in front of the strikers from the railway company, it's over for him. He cannot reform anything else until the end of his mandate.
A recent opinion poll suggests the tide is turning in Macron's favour, with more people supporting the reforms than the strikes. But that's unlikely to deter trade union leaders. Rail workers are promising rolling strikes for several months, and few people here intend to give up their fight anytime soon. Natacha, Butler, Al Jazeera, Paris.